Yep, working on the 1911. 2 weeks in a row. It's almost like Christmas. Key the music. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I really appreciate it. I'm your host, Nobody, and today we are at the Untrained Unprofessional Workbench again, working on the 1911 project. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about this project, this has been a long-running series, so there are a lot of steps and things that I have done previously, so you may want to go back and watch all those too. So, not that I'm asking for more views and likes and subscribers or anything like that, but you know, just Go watch those videos and yeah, let me know what you think. Put comments, it'd be great. What are we doing today? Well, what you saw me doing at the beginning was I had noticed that I had a little bit of binding on the beaver tail from the last time I had worked on it, and specifically when you push it in, it kind of wanted to catch on this side right here. So I was just using a little bit of lapping compound and oil to get it freed up because I didn't want anything to, well, I didn't want it to stick. Go figure. What's on the docket today is that I plan on hopefully finishing all the new components installed. So we're going to go ahead and go over all the components as they are getting installed, and of course I'll have the parts numbers that I'm using and everything, so that way you know what's going on, and if it's something that you need, you can use it too. Alright guys, so the first thing that we're going to be installing is this Atlas Gunworks trigger, and it has a nice, I'll say flat, meaning that the face is basically flat even though it's got a kind of a curved finger. It doesn't kind of round towards the sides, so I'm going to call it flat. And it has some texture on it, you know, which is really nice, so it helps be a little bit grippy. I really don't like a smooth trigger feel. So some of you may like the smoothness. I'm not a fan, just my own personal preference. Now, the shoe that is on it is actually their short shoe, extra short. And the reason why I went with that is because even though I wear like a large glove, I have short stubby fingers, you know, so having the short little shoe on there really fits my hand style a lot better. Well, that's about as far as it'll go. It's basically just sitting there, cockeyed in there. Alright, so I took the shoe off so that way I'm just working with the bow and I don't have to worry about banging it or anything like that. And I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take off the top and just try to keep this as flat as humanly possible. Okay, so that's fairly smooth there. I should probably polish that a little bit. Let me find my stones. Find my stones. Alright, I wish I had a nice wide Arkansas stone that was square, but I don't. I have this triangular one. So this is going to have to do. So I'm basically just trying to smooth this out as much as possible. That way you have a nice smooth trigger feel. So now it's possible that I could have created some edges here. So I'm just going through and breaking any possible edges. That way it's less likely to catch. And I'll need to do it on the inside here. Look at that technique. Absolutely gorgeous. I know, you're probably cringing. It's okay. I am an untrained unprofessional. I'm going to do a couple passes on the bottom. I really want this just to squeak by, that way there's not a lot of play in the trigger at all. Okay, that started a little bit easier. All right, since it kind of started, what I'm going to try to do is just break these edges, and just to see if that will allow it to go in. Because sometimes putting just a small little chamfer on these helps. Now I can push it back and forth, but it's still not quite there. Alright guys, so I just basically finished chasing where the little areas that I had to knock down, and I used my friend Sharpie so that way I can see where it was rubbing, and a vast majority of it came off of the bottom of the shoe. A little bit more up here on the front, no big deal, but now it wants to sit in. Oh, since I bumped the shoe there, way to go, nobody. But now it moves nice and easy. So that's what you're looking for, is a nice easy movement. It doesn't have a lot of up-down play. It fits in there fairly snug, so that way it should be a nice consistent press without any type of rocking. So I'm really happy about that. On the shoe itself, this does, or it is going to require some adjustment for where it's ultimately going to sit. And I actually have the thread that is sitting on is actually sticking a little bit of proud because I had the shoe backed all the way up against the bow. And I'll probably end up just taking some of that off if I don't mess with anything else, and that'll just sit recessed in the shoe. So just know that that'll be taken care of at a later date, because I want to get more of this done and then come back to it and see how it's truly going to sit with the gun. The mag release, which, here, let's pull this apart really quick because I kind of put it together, and I want to show you the components that it consists of, because I bought all three of these separate. The mag release itself, which is brand new, it is actually a Wilson Combat Tactical, and part number below as always. The spring I got from EGW, part number below. And this little guy that looks like a screw but it isn't a screw, it's got a little locking tab, I also got from EGW, part number below, somewhere in here. I'm not going to put any grease or oil or anything on the gun at this point as I'm putting all this stuff together. I'm just going to be dry fitting, you know, for basic fit and function. So just as an FYI. Did I mention that this sits a little bit more proud of the old mag release? Hold on. All right, just to give you an idea, this is the new one, that's the old one. So sitting a heavy 16th or so taller, and it has a nice checkering on it, which the old one had checkering as well. This looks like a little bit bigger of a checker, so maybe a little bit easier for sweaty, bloody, dirty gun or fingers. Guns, fingers. All right, let's go ahead and pop this guy in. It already looks nice, don't it? Oh, that's... Okay. Might have to come back to that, but man, that thing is positive. And something feels a little gritty. Did I not clean this out all the way? So I'm kind of curious. The original spring, if you remember a while back when I originally talked about doing springs and we were looking at this mag catch spring, it was longer than the original one by about a heavy 16th. Okay, curiosity time. Feels better, feels smoother. All right, so I think the thing to do on this, well, I can do one of two things. I can either cut a coil or so off of this and have a new spring, or I can run the original spring that came with it. I think I'm going to run the original spring that came with it and just hold on to this guy for now. And if I need to revisit it, I can revisit it. All right, so we're going to start getting into several parts hot and fast. First is going to be the EGW 1911 ignition kit. And this is number 10214, but I'll double check and put the actual part from the site on the bottom of the screen there for you guys. Now, I will tell you that I have already kind of test fitted this because I wanted to make sure that, remember how I was a little concerned that the thumb safety just dropped right in with no fitting a couple videos ago? Well, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to have to order another one before doing this video. So I did pre-test it, and yes, I still have to fit this a little bit. I think it's going to be close. A couple things that we need to do is we need to connect a hammer strut to our hammer, which what I'm using is from EGW, and it is their titanium hammer strut. Why titanium? Well, the official version is because the titanium is lighter and stronger, and having a lighter part helps with the lockup time of everything. And the true version is that I just like saying titanium, and it makes me feel better. Go ahead, say titanium. Titanium. Yep, there we go. Good job, guys. Also, what we're going to need is the little hammer pin from this kit, which is also from EGW. It is their high quality 11-piece pin set, and it's all blued, and part number 130. So what I'll do later on is I'll come back and I will stake this once everything is fitted. But actually, I need to take this apart because, so on these titaniums, they're just kind of not really rounded, they're kind of squared. I'm going to go take this to my 2x72 belt grinder and just kind of round it just a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I went ahead and made the hammer strut where it had a nice little kind of ball end, and then I hit it with some Kratex just to kind of polish it up. Now, that being said, I need to introduce a couple other parts. Going to start looking at the mainspring housing as this stuff starts going together. I have a mainspring cap, which is also titanium. Why, you ask? Same reason. Why would you expect anything different? So, and that fits really nice and smooth. There's nothing that's catching, so I'm very happy with that. Now, in the ignition kit, since it's a 19-pound mainspring, I'm going to try it with the 19-pound. But I also have a 22-pound mainspring just in case if for some reason I need to swap it out. Now, I believe on the, when this originally came out, it was like a 23, I think of what it is, or I can't remember if I actually found data that supported that, but I want to say 23 for some reason. But I got a 22, which was the closest I was able to find at the time when I was purchasing stuff. So there's that. Also, the mainspring housing. Now this is a 20 lines per inch mainspring housing, which matches the 20 lines per inch front checkering that we just did. So keeping everything consistent. So let's go ahead and get this put together, which I'm going to need. I'm just going to use the standard steel. And punch, punch. As you can see, I'm using my 10A performance block to put this together. It just makes it nice and easy to compress that and to get it in. Now this does sit a little bit proud of the back of the mainspring housing. I'll see how it does. Worst case scenario, I can come in and just cut that a little bit deeper. Oh, I should tell you that there was something that I had to do with this mainspring housing when I was dry fitting everything to check the thumb safety. There was some type of burr that was actually inside for this little pin, so I had to take a, oh geez, what was it? Okay, I don't remember which one it was, but it was either like a number 44 or number 47 drill bit, and I just went in there and just kind of walked it around to try to clean up the slight little burr that was causing it to stop. All right, let's go ahead and start fitting this together. Come on, line up. All right, that guy. And this pin didn't have an issue at all. But that does sit a little bit proud. I might need to recess that just ever so slightly. All right, now our brand new leaf spring. Now, I haven't done anything to the leaf spring, so I don't know. Well, I can tell you it's probably going to have lots of sharp edges on it that need to be addressed. Oh, come on. Okay. It's going to be a tight gun. Alright, so you can barely see that little glint right there, or hopefully you can. And this is definitely one of those things where if you take too much off, you just ruin a whole part. And then you buy another one. It is safe. I'm not getting any movement in the hammer when I press the trigger and whatnot. So that's good for what we're doing right now. Plunger is an EGW and it is 10680, again down at the bottom. And this one, I like it. They already went ahead and put the nice little kink in it to keep it from shooting out when you go to take this off. Now, what I don't like, already I can tell you that the spring does not like to stay on very well. So that's kind of a bummer. It's like they didn't tighten it all that much. I like it a little bit tighter just so it makes it easier to pull the entire thing out. Let's see if I can put a little cramp in its style here. Put my eyeballs on. Let's see if I can just crush this little end ever so slightly. Ooh, makes it really hard. There we go. That's better. Now let's do it on this side. Maybe that's the magic, is to have it slip off like that. Oh. The only problem is it does make it a pain in the butt. There we go. But not impossible. Makes it hard for that to come apart. Okay, so let's go ahead and insert. And let's compress. Oh. All right, that's pretty hard. So we're gonna have to mess with that, but it's getting better. but just a little too positive. Let's see, what can we do? Ow. And with how tight everything is, it makes getting this thing off a pain. All right, so what's going on, and it's probably going to be hard for you guys to see, but if you look right at where the thumb safety meets the plunger tube assembly, there's hardly any room right there. So this whole spring and plunger system needs to compress quite a bit, and that's putting a lot of pressure and making it very difficult to operate this. So a couple things that I can do. I guess I could shorten this, which seems like a pain in the butt. I really don't want to do that. But I'll probably polish it, make it nice and smooth. Or I think I'm going to take a coil or two off of this. I'm also going to do this all one at a time. I'm going to take this corner right here. I'm going to soften it just a little bit. Give it a little bit of a radius, and that'll help it to where it's not right where that corner is. It's not pushing it in at the maximum. It's going to kind of roll past that whole assembly. So that's the plan on these. And I think I'll start with a file. And do a little bit at a time on this. I'll have to re-squeeze that guy. We shall see. Put this back in. Okay, so better. Feels a little more like it wants to roll it just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit more fine tuning on that corner, I think might be the way to go before I do anything else. Oh yeah, there we go. I think with a little bit of polishing on those two engagement surfaces, it'll be perfect, but that's where we want to be. All right, let's tighten this guy up just a little bit, see if we can put a little cinch on it. Oh, that might have been too much. I did too much. There we go. I had a little piece that was just like kind of, when I crushed it, it kind of bent up. And so I just snipped that off. All right, so just kind of soften that edge right there. Also that little corner, just to make sure that there was nothing too sharp right there. And also ran that little Cratex right in the little pocket there. So any sharp machining edges should be gone. I said I was going to polish this, huh? Wish I would have done it before I put that there. If I was smart, I would have done that side as well, but I can struggle with that later. How about that? That was all it needed. All it needed, like I just spent 2 seconds on it. But that is nice and not too hard, not too soft. Just right. Let's go ahead and get this guy in. And we kind of want to see what it's going to look like with the grips on. And if you're wondering if I'm going to keep these grips, yeah, I think I am, because I kind of like the whole idea behind this whole thing was to kind of pay homage to its 1911 A1 roots, and still kind of have some characteristics of that, but also give it like some updates. So kind of keep some of the old and some of the new. And oh my, I need to play with the springs on there. So there's a little bit of general tuning that needs to happen. Like I need to tweak the springs and make sure that all those little engagement surfaces are nice and smooth. And then a little bit of pressure here on the beaver tail, so that way it doesn't wobble so much. But other than that, well, there we are, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know I sure did. This has been a heck of a project so far. It's been very enjoyable watching this whole thing come together, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it the rest of the way through. So thank you so much. Keep your hands dirty, guys. Get to work.